Okay, for this one, this is something I've been wanting to make a video about for about a week now, but it's closer now to the 21st, so I decided to do it now. Okay, so I'm going to talk about baseball in this one. I want to talk about this. And before we continue, I just want to say that I'm not going to get technical because I myself am not a huge baseball fan. I don't watch sports in general. I live in Western Pennsylvania, so like our football team is the Steelers, our baseball team is the Pirates, who have actually managed to really not suck too bad that last season. I mean, they're out of it now, but they were consistent for a while there. In fact, it was funny. One of my friends in class, his name's David, and he's a really big Pirates fan. The day they came in, the day after they lost, they were out of the World Series for the National League. Well, which I don't know baseball. They lost, and now they're done for the season. That's what I meant. He comes in, and he was visibly like depressed and enraged at the same time. Like he looked like he just wanted to like punch a wall. That's how mad he got. I never understood how people could get that angry over sports. But anyway. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but this year I am particularly interested in one team, and that would be the Chicago Cubs. Now, the reason for that stems for two things. First is, and I already kind of hinted at it because I said the 21st of this month, hints onto the movie The Back to the Future. Not The Back to the Future, Back to the Future, Part 2. If you have not watched Back to the Future, I have to ask what planet you're from. And you should probably go and try to find the DVDs, even if you are from another planet, or just illegally download it on the internet, whatever. Just find a way to watch Back to the Future. In fact, this month is probably the single best time for you to ever watch Back to the Future. If you just put it off up to this point, do it now. Because in Back to the Future Part 2, Marty and Doc go into the future, and the future from 1985, which is when the movie is set, and they arrive October 21st, 2015, which is next Wednesday. And everyone's getting really excited. A lot of memes going up on the internet. I'm probably going to be making a video about it. I'm going to be making a little bit of homage to it in that week's Bleach review. You'll see. But yeah, it's a really crazy, surreal thing that we finally got 30 years in the future here. And one of the things, though, that happened in Back to the Future Part 2, when Marty was kind of just walking around the futuristic version of Hill Valley, he sees a billboard. He sees a holographic billboard that announces that the Chicago Cubs had won the World Series in 2015. And that's kind of a joke because the Chicago Cubs have not won a World Series since 1908. It's been 107 years since they won a World Series. The last time they were even in the World Series, they lost, but the last time they were in a World Series game was 1945. This is like notorious for being the longest dry spell of any professional sports team's victory. You just think like by sheer luck, of like 1 year, the Cubs would just be better than other teams just by process of elimination of how many times they've tried this. 107 times. But anyway, so that's one of the reasons I really want the Cubs to win. They're in the national championship. They're playing the Mets tonight. And so I'm really hoping that they win the national championship and then they'll move on to the World Series. So I'm really pumped. Another reason I am, though, and this is more appropriate, I guess I should say, than just because it's in Back to the Future Part 2. Although I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are just like me that know dick about baseball that are still hoping the Cubs win just to complete Robert Zemeckis' prophecy that the Cubs would win in 2015. That would just be glorious. But yeah, the other reason, though, is that my grandfather is a really big Cubs fan. He always has been. And my grandfather is 93 years old. He turned 93 this year. And so, obviously, even throughout his life, the Cubs have never won a World Series. And the last time they were in a World Series in 1945, he was around my age. He was 23. And it's kind of really hard to imagine your 93-year-old grandfather as, your own age. But yeah, that's just crazy. So I really hope they win just because, I mean, my grandfather doesn't really have a lot of stuff going on anymore. I mean, he still gets around. He's not, he's not like in a wheelchair or anything, but he still gets around. But I think it would just mean the world to him if the Cubs won in his lifetime. Because I just want to be there and see his look on his face if they win. So I've been actually doing research on this shit. I've actually been learning about baseball because I know nothing about it. In fact, this is gonna sound stupid, but I don't follow this, so I don't know. I wanted to find out, like, okay, when's the World Series game? I assumed, it was just one game. You know, because that's how football works. That's how the Super Bowl works. You have a National League and then the American League, and then, you know, they take the champions from both. You play one game and you win. I'm like, why does baseball have to have, like, best out of 5? Like, you have to play, like, 5 World Series games or 4 World Series games or 4 National League. I'm like, why? Just, okay, Cubs play the Mets. Okay, Cubs win. On to the World Series. Okay, they won against the World Series. They win. Okay, good. Easy, simple. I don't know why there has to be, like, broken up into, like, 4 games each. That just seems, like, tedious. But okay, I mean, I didn't invent the sport. I'm not an expert on this shit. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But yeah, good luck to the Cubs tonight. Hope they win against the Mets and keep on winning. So yeah, go Cubbies. I guess also because, you know, this is kind of an out there video for me talking about something I don't know. Maybe you could talk about some of the sports teams you like. I mean, if you don't live in the United States, that's also a cool thing. Maybe there's, you know, I'm a fan of this sport, and I've never even heard of it before. Oh, yeah, I'm a big old Smeckeldorfer fan. I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting game. Maybe you should explain that. I don't know. But, yeah, let me know what your favorite sports team is, and, you know, what is it, and what do they play, and maybe it's just only specific to your country. I don't know. Okay. Well, see you guys. Teching signing out.